Howdy, everybody. I hope you're all doing well. This is the Roaming Prepper channel. Thank you for coming and joining me. I'm your host, Pete. I'm normally your host, but in any case, today I want to talk about something we haven't spoken about in a while, which is the battle of currencies between the US and our friends over the Pacific and China. Um, right now, a article from the Cryptopolitan, if I'm saying that right, Cryptopolitan, written by Jai Hamid, says that the China's yuan overtakes United States dollar in global markets. Let me share that with you really quick and make sure I'm not muted. Share screen. Bear with me just a moment while we take care of that. Okay, there we go. So, according to this article, the tussle over global currency dominance is wrapped up, with the Chinese yuan charging ahead of the dollar. Yuan is making significant strides, especially in the central and offshore financial dealings within Russia. Now, keep in mind, both of these countries are BRICS countries. R in BRICS is Russia, and C is China, hinting it may soon outshine the US dollar. This is ultimately the goal. China offered its support to Russia so Russia would get in the war and devalue the ruble. In the meantime, we're not going to let that happen. We throw a bunch of money at the problem. We devalue the dollar. The country that wins with Iran and Israel, and as well as Ukraine and Russia, ultimately will not be NATO, won't be the US or Canada, it will be China. Mark my words on that one. I'm just making a geopolitical guess based on what I'm seeing. I'm not clairvoyant. But according to the Reuters report, so I guess they cited Reuters, the yuan has surged past the US dollar to become the predominant foreign currency in Russia. New metrics show a major shift. 42% of Russia's foreign currency transaction now involve yuan, surpassing the dollar's 35%. This rise indicates a robust shift toward the yuan, spurred by Russia's need to dodge heavy U.S. sanctions. Sanctions have squeezed Russia out of many financial markets, prompting a pivot. The currency market is heating up globally, and Asia nations are on their toes due to the dollar's strength. South Korea, Thailand, and Poland are watching their currency fluctuations closely, ready to intervene if things get shaky. Indonesia is already taking action by offloading US dollars to shore up its own currency. And then it goes on to talk about Marcelo Chow, a strategist at JP Morgan, points out the frequent interventions by central banks to stabilize their currencies. Right now, we do see a lot of verbal intervention from different central banks. She noted that given the Fed's current stance, Asian currencies might face further declines, necessitating more interventions. Now, this shouldn't come as a surprise to most of us because most of us have been watching BRICS unfold and are going, that's not going to be good. Now, another article which I thought was interesting, and this is from Investopedia uh, sorry, economicshelp.org, as well as Forbes.com. A few things that would happen to us if the dollar devalues. And I'm not talking about a complete collapse. I'm talking about an open free market decrease or devaluation. Um, Assuming non-cratering and understanding that China manipulates their numbers. So if the US dollar devalues, the following may happen. Cost of imports will become more expensive. We've talked about this. I mean, and plus the fighting in and around the Suez Canal, the fighting in and around the Black Sea, Ukraine, Russia, there's a lot of pressure on supply chains. So between this pressure on supply chains for more, redirecting ships, and then devaluing of the dollar, stuff becomes more expensive, right? Not a surprise. The government will not be able to borrow at current rates, resulting in a deficit that may be fulfilled by increasing taxes or printing money. We've already printed enough money, so what's the other alternative? Increase our taxes. Inflation will skyrocket, not a surprise there, because of higher cost of imports. Exports are cheaper to foreign customers, so on the flip side, companies in the US that are selling overseas will actually get a bit of a windfall. So if you work for one of them, you might actually not be too bad. And the short term devaluation causes inflation, higher growth and demand, increased demand for exports. So a lot of odd effects, most of which are inflationary. So why do I bring this up? Because Again, we have two OPEC nations in a shooting war with some other country, Iran and Israel, and Russia and China. Now, by the time you guys see this, we don't know what'll happen with either one. One of them could suddenly say, "Okay, peace treaty obtained," and they negotiate some shit, and off they go. I don't see that happening in the next couple of months. Sadly, I think it might get worse. And if they start shooting up uh, freighters or oil tankers, or if Iran shuts or tries to shut the port of Hormuz and gets in a shooting match with the English or the French or the Americans, yeah, it's going to get really hairy. But that being said, there are things we can do. Now, one, again, I've said it before. If you are going to eat tomorrow on today's less inflationary pricing. Um, think of it this way. On the one hand, if you buy now and the price goes up, you've saved money a week from now or 2 weeks from now eating on today's pricing. On the other hand, if you buy today, you buy in bulk, you freeze, store, can, whatever, and the prices may go down. Okay, no harm, no foul. You've created a convenience for yourself. You now don't have to go driving and shopping to go pick up groceries every day because you already have them at home. You just got to keep organized as far as first in, first out, and expirations and stuff like that. Either way, there's a win. It's just a different type of win. One is a convenience factor, keeping you off the streets and off of wasting gas, wasting time, wasting money because you've already got it. The flip side is if the price does go up, you're going to be ahead of the game. So, either way, buying in bulk, preserving, canning, cooking, meal prepping for lunches, whatever it is you do, good idea. Okay. Um, Two, have a little cash on hand in case the banks flip out for whatever reason. There's a sudden run on the banks. You've got cash. And keep in mind, you want smaller bills, not just a pile of 20s and hundreds, because then if you have $100 bill, the corner grocery store has been hit already. They're run out of change. And guess what? You're going to have to either buy $100 of product or you're going to have to not get change. I found that inside the Chase banks, and I don't know if Bank of America is the same way, but the Chase banks, you can get singles, fives, 20s, and hundreds, which I love because I will go if I have a road trip. I'll go and say I pull 200 for emergency cash on a road trip because I could be gone 3 4 days on the road. I'll take out maybe 100 for a hotel room, maybe a couple of 20s for meals and maybe gas in an emergency, and then fives and ones. If I get a convenience store, I stop at a farmer's market. When you're at farmer's market, they'll be like, "What's the price for cash?" And sometimes you get a whole different price for cash versus credit card. So just a good idea. But smaller denominations, if you can't get them from your ATM, not a big deal. If you get a couple of 20s, go to the store and buy a pack of gum, give them a 20, get the change, done. Um, Also, make sure you have water. Make sure you've paid all your bills, your mortgages, and stuff on time. And as always, pay down your debt. Folks, a lot of this is common sense. Now, you may hear people freaking out about it. No need. Take the right steps, but be aware we could see more inflationary pressure, not just with the energy market because of Iran and Russia, but because of the dollar's devaluation or the dollar's place in the global economy. Be ready for those things so you don't get caught off guard. Folks, until next time, thanks for joining me. God bless, Godspeed. I will see you on the next one.